So, as soon as I see this come up, that YouTube is back live. Here we are. Now, we're back. We're testing out, swapping out the desktops in BlendOs. And this is in VMware, so some things are going to be a little bit goofy. But let's see how this is working. I mean, this is actually looking... And this is BlendOs. I was on Genome. And now I switched to XFCE. And we're going to see how it works. Now here you see XFCE. I don't see any duplication. It is a very minimalist desktop. But you can see I don't have duplications. Let's see, does FreeTube launch in here? Oh my God. You guys see this? This desktop switcher works so slick. So I do sudo system track. Give my password. Enter. This is XFCE Genome. Now Cinnamon is one that I have used before. You guys see this? This is really fucking slick. This makes me want to shut my stream down, install this, and see how quick I can get it up to a running system. Oh my God. I am not kidding. BlendOs, I've used it in the past. But I'm seeing this now work after they've had more time to work on it. And holy crap. This is wild. Because you get sick of a desktop, you can just swap between those 6 at any time. Today you feel like Genome. Tomorrow you feel like KDE. Takes a few minutes, and now you're on a completely different desktop, but with all the same applications installed. It's just like, what the fuck? This is really power in your hands. And I know that they had some of the stuff kind of working before when I tried it. And some things worked pretty good, but you still had some problems here and there. This is looking like they perfected it. If that is the case, So what's really neat is if you really wanted to be safe with the system, you can make a container and set it up just for like Ubuntu and set up your games or Arch or anything in there. If anything goes wrong, you can delete it and then redo it. And literally, changes the whole aspect of even using anything. Okay, so now I can reboot. So I go reboot. And now I should be in Cinnamon. And Cinnamon, I've used it before. It feels like Windows 98. I'm sorry, it just does. And it's a good system. Oh, I did it wrong. But I had just a few issues with it. Yeah, so here's Cinnamon. It feels like Windows 98. You see what I mean? Sideward. Does this not feel like Windows 98 though? You have your start menu. You have all this power and options and that, and just the way it's laid out. Your preferences is right here, administration, sound, video, programming, internet, graphics, games, and all that. Does that not give you that feel of Windows 98? You had the search menu, you know, and then these things would scroll down for all your stuff because all applications, it feels like Windows like 98 to me. You keep a bar on top. Well, see, you can change where this bar is, I'm pretty sure. Panel settings. Always show auto hide. I mean, you can change where it is, smaller. Appearance. I mean, yeah. Well, it didn't want to be exactly. I don't have any like. Okay, you set Steam. Add to favorites. Now watch. Maybe it doesn't have a list for favorites. I don't know. But I like it. I don't know. I like the way it feels, but um, Mucklock. I want to show you my setup. Hang on. I have basically. Nope, that's not mine. Hang on, let me find mine. My account. Hang on, I'll find it. Orders. I just had it up, and it's such a great case. It's about the biggest one I could find. When I was looking. Okay, I think it was right before that. Yeah, here's her motherboard, coolers. Where is hang on, let me find my case that I have. Where is my case? Okay, it must be a previous. Sure. Gotta be in here then. I must have missed it. Here we go. Okay. Where the hell is my fucking case I ordered? When I ordered it. Because this case it's got to be one of the best. Okay, so it's not. Ordered that long. That was. Oh, maybe not. So this is my case right here. And this thing has a lot of room in it. And I like how it sits upright because you can see my 3090 does come down towards the bottom. But I'll tell you what, I like it. I really like it. Because it opens up on my left side or on my right side. And I'll tell you what, I really like the airflow in it. This is the case I'm using right now. No fans included or anything. But it was only $139. And it is a full e-tower. And I like it. And it comes in white too if you want white. They have the black and gray, and then they have the white and black. And they have a full different case that is not the vertical. They have a couple different cases, but I really like this one because it was the tallest. Bang for the buck. You know what I mean? I thought this case, after I had it, at first I was kind of like, so here's the name of it. That's the name of the case that I got. And weird, Joe. Hey, how's it going? I'm still up. Dude, I'm looking at this other OS, BlendOs, and let me show you some of this stuff. Oh my God. This BlendOs is wild. Yeah, I've been up now 18 hours. So this BlendOs, you can put containers in here and install from any distro. And a lot more. Oh my God, is this BlendOs wild? This BlendOs, you can install anything from Arch, Ubuntu, Debian, all of them in a container without it's mutable. God, where is the... Okay, did I just crash it? I think I might have crashed it. I don't know. Yeah, I think I kind of fucked it. That's power. Cancel. Usually if you restart them. All right. Let's try this again. You have a giant tower? Where'd you get it? I can hold 2 or 3 systems inside. Where'd you get that tower then, Joe? Joe's a good friend of mine. I've known him for how many years have we known each other, Joe? I even came down to Texas to see you once when I was driving truck. Hung out for a day. Where'd you get your tower? I need a tower that I can put more than one system into. I really do need a tower that I can put. Wow. Why am I so loud? Hang on. Is it actually on this? It is on that mic. I have no mic gain. Oh, did it reset my filters? No. Oh, that's all good. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, maybe I was talking a little loud. 11 years or more? What's the name of it? So watch this. If I can get it to load this time. Or did I just break the unbreakable system? Of course, I am in a VMware. A Core X71. Where'd you get it on Steam? Amazon? You can't hold 2 or 3 systems in that. Well, maybe in this one. I found a Thermaltake Core. That's a Micro X Cube. They probably don't have it anymore. Because I'm finding other systems, but I'm not finding that system. Let me check on Google if somebody has it. So like this. Can't hold 2 or 3 systems in there. Core X71. I've had bigger than that. Can't hold more than one system in there. You're only gonna fit one motherboard, one CPU, one GPU in there. You ain't gonna fit more than 2 in there. You ain't gonna fit more than 1 in there. I get what I'm looking at. But it's not even that. Maybe you can fit 2 in there. Kind of hard. My old full. Yeah, you can fit 1 in the bottom, 1 in the top, maybe. Well, it has 2 places to put the power supply. 2 different places to put power supplies. Even here, it doesn't. Yeah, it's okay. It's neat. I will give you that. I think I broke. I can't get. I think I broke it. I think I broke the BlendOs. Yeah, for what they showed in the video is like if you use a micro ATX board on top, put the power supply right below it. Now, your advantage is you can stack in all your hard drives in the bottom and take their provided cover and put it in the bottom to cover up the hole for the fucking power supply. And they showed it a little different. Yeah, I think I broke my BlendOs. How do you like that? Unbreakable, and I broke it. All I was doing was fucking around. It will not go into terminal. Yeah, I was looking at them. Okay, let's close that. Yeah, no, there's a few different ones for that. No, I get it. All right. Memory 16, and I'll give it 400. So now we're going to create a new one for BlendOs. Because I'll tell you what, this is looking really neat. BlendOs, as I keep playing with it, has all the power functionality of 3-4 operating systems in one. I'll just leave it all. I don't care. So what you're watching right now is me install BlendOs into a box, which is a virtual machine. It's so close. Jaeger! How's it going, my man? Are you streaming? Let's see. Let me see if you are streaming. Eva, nope, you're not. Jaeger, my man, over on Twitch. How's it going? So, Jaeger, there's something you got to get ready for. 2025, if you're listening, Windows is going to go to cloud based. You're going to want to switch over to like something like BlendOs, which is a Linux. I know what you're going to say. Oh my God, Linux. Oh my God, no, 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 no. Well, Linux can play all the games that you play. 90%, 85 to 90% of all the games out there, Linux can play them. Only the ones like COD, Modern Warfare, and a few of these other ones, it won't play without doing some hardcore screwing around. And this BlendOs is actually, I just installed it in like 2 minutes. And it's freaking cool. Because containers from Linux distribution from BlendOs after which you can use their apps. So you can use Arch apps, Ubuntu, Fedora. What's the Windows called? Well, it's not a. What do you mean? They're just. If you look in Google or YouTube, there is look up 2024 cloud or Windows going cloud based. I'll show you videos on it right now if you want. And you can also install Android apps through BlendOs. Direct Android apps into the setup into its own container. I mean, BlendOs is fucking neat. You know, their software store. It's based on Arch, but let's say you want Steam. Steam's right here. Install. And literally you can set this up so fucking fast. You want this for gaming busy? Here you go. Watch. Okay, Steam. Next, Discord. Let it finish loading. I'm going so fast because it's still installing. Discord. Coming from Flatpak, great source. All right. What else? You're going to want Lutris. Okay, now here's where it gets a little different. Lutris, I got to look at 514. Community. 5 weeks ago, so it's the newest. So, getting it from FlatHub, Lutris, install. Okay. Lutris will let you do. No, Linux is the way. Hey, Razio, have you looked at BlendOs yet? That's what I'm looking at right here. BlendOs. It took 2 minutes to install. So I got Steam, Discord, Lutris. Maybe you want Opera. So Opera browser from FlatHub. Okay, and then you also want you want Chrome. Maybe you want Google Chrome. I'm just saying, Google Chrome. Okay, so you want Google Chrome. I got Steam, Lutris, Google Chrome. Oh, maybe you want to record videos. So you want OBS. Now I'm installing all kinds of shit all at the same time. OBS Studio, what version is it? We got to make sure it's a decent version. It's loading because it's installing so many apps as I'm doing this. I'm doing this so quick. Show more. What's its version? 30. So it's the newest one. And you can install all these other options. And it's version 30. 13 days ago. So let's install. So we got Steam, Lutris, Discord, Opera, Google Chrome. What am I missing? Am I missing anything? I went through a pretty quick list right there. And the system is going to be pretty much ready to run. Because Firefox should be installed. Yeah, Firefox is right there. Oh, if you want to do hardcore, I finally got hardware stream capture going on my 6800. Used VK capture. Didn't test it a ton though. What is VK capture? What is VK capture? Why does that sound familiar? So then we come in here. Then look, OBS Studio. It's up. One thing I check for. I don't worry about that right at the moment. Browser source, so you can do your stuff. That's the video capture. Just click OK. It's not going to capture any devices because I did the wrong one. Because it's IM and VM. Windows capture. And it's capturing the window. So, okay, we got drivers set up, and this is got to remember that this is also inside of a box or a VMware. So yeah, it's got a lot of the setups and tools and options. So OBS is working right out of the box. Steam. Get Steam going. Missing permissions for input devices. Steam input devices under or UDEV rules doesn't seem to be installed if you experience. Okay, yeah, that's a typical thing. You got to get the Steam devices installed. So let's also fire up and see how she does with Discord. All right, let's get Discord going. Let's also see how she does when you start pushing it a little bit. Internet. We got Google Chrome. Let's get Google Chrome up. Hey, let's push this a little further. We got Discord app. Let's minimize that. Let's also get Opera. I thought I did Opera. Maybe I didn't. Did I do Opera? Program. Da, 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 da. Fix. Controls. Keys. Having G part it and all that. That's pretty fucking sweet. I did Opera. Maybe I missed it. Yeah, Steam comes right up. That's good. Discord comes right up. What about Google Chrome? I bumped that off already. But see, now when you have a problem like this, where let's say if one doesn't launch, you go to one of the other containers and you can install it a different way. Install it, which I showed in. So that Google Chrome is not launching. So how do we fix that? Well, in here, because it is BlendOs, we got a couple advantages. So we just go Google Chrome. It says it's installed. Delete it. Uninstall. Okay. Now that's uninstalled. Let's double check that it is uninstalled. Yes, them two worked. Not worried. Hit the wrong fucking button. All right, now we're going to go to System. We're going to go here to BlendOs Settings. And we're going to make a... I'm going to do Ubuntu 2204. I'm just going to do a container. Regular Ubuntu. Add. Let that add. Once that's done adding, is that an Arch? What? Because you're running Arch, aren't you, Sideward? I'm trying to figure out what. Like, what package would I, or what operating system did you get that under? That was Arch, wasn't it? Because I think you're running Manjaro. Yeah, Manjaro XFCE, if I remember correctly. If I'm thinking correctly, I remember I've been up for fucking 18 hours. XFCE Manjaro. Was that from the AUR or from Flatpak? But the package, AUR. Okay. In here, I could install that. See, I got a Ubuntu container. Okay. Now, watch. Now, I'm not the best. With Arch, but I just want to show you this. So I'm going to make an arch container. I'm going to name it arch. Okay. Arch. No. I know you can't. Hardware capture, I can't do it in this kind of a VM. If I had Vert Manager installed, QEMU, I could do a hardware capture. If I was doing QEMU. But I'm not doing that. I'm just doing simple boxes, kind of like regular virtual box. I'm not fucking around hardcore. You know what I mean? It's not a. It's just a basic virtual machine. It's stage 2, not stage 1. I could install QME and go through all that shit and do it, but when I'm looking at this, may be the operating system to use because they've really bumped it up a lot. Who are you talking to? On. You didn't do something when you got home. I know. And you're talking on your phone. Which one of Michelle's kids? Huh? What's her name? You go walking with? Oh, I was talking to Catherine. Oh, Cat. Right. On Vert Manager, I can do CPU pass through, RAM pass through, USB pass through, and mine. No, come here. Mine. And so, have you look up QEMU? I'll show you a side word. It's really fucking cool. Okay, so I got an arch, and so binary name is Pac-Man. Container is arch. And add. Okay, so I have both my arch container and my Ubuntu container. Okay, each of these are separate. Apt goes for my Ubuntu container. Pac-Man is for my arch. Basic things like what you would have in the normal systems for them. So we're going to open up a console. Go down here to activities, and I'm going to pin the dash. All right, we're on console. So, sudo Pac-Man minus sy, and then what did you call it? VK capture. Okay. Oh god. What's the command for updating? It's uh It's minus. What is the Arch update command? Fuck, I forget it. I'm having a brain fart. Sudo pacman. Arch update command. I am just having a fucking brain fart. It's a sudo pacman minus. I'm just having a fucking brain fart. I'm gonna have to Google this one. That's why you. Yeah. Yeah. SYU. SYU. I couldn't remember if it was. So sudo pacman minus SY. BK capture. Oh. Maybe there's a way to add. All right. So I'm going to show you something different. Okay, we got this container, right? I'm going to open it here in the Ubuntu side of the container. So first, update sudo apt upgrade. All right. I'll try it in a minute. OBS VK capture. Okay. Let me get this one done. Because I'm installing Flatpak. I'm going to show you a trick. Because it didn't work through the main system, and I think that's just because it was off of Arch. But now I'm taking it directly from Flatpak or FlatHub. A little bit different. And this is really weird how this works. Okay. Now, sudo apt install Oh, no. Now watch this. I come over here to Flatpak or FlatHub, and I type in Google Chrome. Okay, I click on Google Chrome, click on the install, copy the Flatpak install. Now watch how this works. Oh, I did it. Okay, it didn't. It's not copying over now. don't want the whole thing. I just want that. Copy. All right, I'll just type it out then. So we want Flatpak install flat hub space com.google dot and we want stable, so we want 2. We don't want the development branch. We want the full stable. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You probably had to do a few things. I just trying to figure out some shit. Right. Yeah, fucker. Now it won't. It did it earlier for me, and now the fucker won't do it. Yeah, I clicked the wrong fucking button. That was me. Okay. Let's just see. Sudo pack man minus sy obs dash bk capture. Target not found. Well, like I said, there's still some issues with the system. So let's open it up in the Arch. The dash. It wouldn't be a capital O. Target not found. So wait a minute. I want to see something. I had a different thought. Maybe in here under OBS background Droid Cam G Streamer. It's a little different on BlendOs. I would have to. Right here, OBS VK Capture plugin. This is why I was looking here. See right here. They have that in part of this here. They have a lot more stuff enabled in here underneath for the individual programs. So right here is, look, I clicked it and it installed it. Watch. On here, this BlendOs is really fucking slick. So I already got the OBS VK Capture plugin installed. I just clicked it once. Like OBS NDI, right there. GStream BA API, GStream, DroidCam, background removal, advanced scene switcher, vertical canvas, waveform. They have a lot in here. So close this out, go to activities, come to here, and sound and video, OBS. Tools, we're here. Pipeware, jack, image slideshow, audio call. Right. Yeah, no, I know it takes a few different plugins to make some of them work right. I'm just trying to figure out, like, if let's say if I switch to it, if I switch to this, so like under Ubuntu, um, all dependencies. Okay, now I installed Steam devices here. Now watch what happens. This is the power. We had the warning. Steam couldn't detect the devices. I said to correct it was the Steam devices. So I went into Ubuntu and I installed the Steam devices because I know it has it there. Now, how fucking slick is that? You mean a flight stick? You can. X2 or X4? Like dual flight sticks you're talking? I thought you could. So these containers are much stronger than we think. Because I just did Steam devices in my Ubuntu package, and it fixed my Steam in my main system. Now, how fucking slick is that? Or no, what was it? NVIDIA. Oh, not detect. Oh, what is that NVIDIA? There's a. Oh. All right. Oh, here's where I did it. Mirror list info. Goes through all that. Let me just see what anybody says for close that up. Close this up.
It's amazing. I can't believe it. I can't believe it took us this long to
My audio turned off.
check this out. It's that good.
That's true. There's been quite a few versions for this. And I also really like the fact that the welcome screen prompts you to start building the containers immediately.
Yeah.
Yes.
The thing that I feel is the most interesting is the combination of having the ability to just use the application from wherever you want it to be. So we're talking about how we have the different container.
Arch. Oh, hi. Hi. I wonder if I could almost follow the arch. Because BlendOs is Arch. Hi, what are you doing climbing on me? Hi. So there's still quite a few videos out. There would be. Let's see.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to walk through how to install proprietary NVIDIA drivers on your Arch Linux based system or your Arch Linux based distribution. Now, when we're talking about distributions, you will most likely have an option to install the proprietary drivers through the distribution ISO itself or through the installer. But on vanilla systems or systems where you might not have used that option to install your proprietary drivers, this video will cover how to do that, especially if you are on Arch Linux. So the first thing you want to do is obviously find out which graphics driver you have. You could use INSI, or you could basically do an LSPCI, so LSPCI-V, and this is going to actually spit out a lot of verbose output.
NV
So we're going to
detect.
narrow it down to just the graphics stuff, so which is VGA. And as you can see in this system, I have a GTX 750 Ti. Now, what the wiki says is that for Maxwell or newer cards, you want to install the NVIDIA.
Not sure how much
package
trouble it
or
would
the
be to
Linux
set up
kernel. So let's
Linux.
find out the
It's
kernel that we have. So uname-r, and I have
BlendOS
the
is
standard
real
Arch
easy.
Linux kernel for which I can
and
install
their
the
different
NVIDIA package.
packages are
Now,
set
if
up
you
in.
have the
Okay.
LTS or the Zen kernel.
Sideward. Have you ever looked at BlendOS? BlendOS combines many distros into one. So, BlendOS, if this is their base operating system, okay? If I want to install something from Ubuntu, it puts it inside of a container and threads it in for connections. If this container gets screwed up, I can delete it and my base system stays. I can reinstall it, it rethreads in, and then if I install something inside the container, it runs like it's a native app. It can even detect your software and programs and other stuff in your main system, but if something happens with it, it's separate. It can just be pulled away. That's how BlendOS works, and that's why you can install it stuff from any. It's Arch-based BlendOS, but you can install from Ubuntu, Fedora, all of them, because it builds a container like a terminal screen, which is a very small operating system. And it pulls in the files that it needs to run it for your graphics, to link it, and voila, it works. It's so fucking slick.
Then you might want to install the NVIDIA DKMS package. So I'll just repeat again, if you have the standard kernel, then the NVIDIA package is what you want to install. If you have LTS or Zen or whatever, you want to install the DKMS package. Now, how do you find out what is Maxwell and what series your card belongs to? So the wiki actually suggests over here that you go to Nuvo's wikis page, because if you look at what we are using right now, we basically have, if I run INSI again, you will see that we are using Nuvo. And Nuvo is basically a free and open source driver maintained by the community. This is not maintained by NVIDIA. The official proprietary drivers are obviously maintained by NVIDIA.
Right.
So Nuvo is great for like just having
And
a display
so-
and doing your basic tasks.
What was really neat is, okay, I had Arch and I installed Steam on it, on the base system. Steam was missing the Steam/devices. In Ubuntu, Steam-devices is in there. I installed it in here. Steam recognized it and utilized it. That's how fucking slick that is. Even though BlendOs is Arch based, it still used the Steam devices from Ubuntu 22.04 to run my Steam for controller support. That's where the power of BlendOs comes in. That's why it's so freaking cool. I'm getting what you got to do here, so. This was.
So this is the brand new all-in-one Linux distro that is capable to run Android, Ubuntu, Debian, Arch, and a lot of other Linux containers
You can
as
run a
well.
full Kali
So watch the
basically
video till the end to
inside
find
a
out how to install it on
container.
your system. So
It's
I'm using the
so
GNOME
fucking
desktop
cool.
environment version, but you can choose among a variety of other two that you will find out later in the video. All the applications by default are categorized, and we can access the settings from the system tools folder. The settings has all the basic options for the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth.
What's that?
And if you go to the appearance settings, we will not see any
What?
options for the dock or the icons, but we can access the dark mode and the light
What?
mode. And this is how it looks in the
What?
dark mode. And we also have a variety of wallpapers, and they also have their complementary dark theme versions too, so it's good to see. You can check out all the different wallpapers.
Oh god.
In the multitasking option, we can access the overview or the recent just by hovering our mouse on the top left side, or you can access via using your Windows Start menu key. And in the applications list, you can see I have a lot of Android applications, so we will see how to install it later. So all the other options are pretty basic.
Doesn't mean it's not.
And you can see I have a Ryzen 2500U processor with the 8GB of RAM.
Inside.
This is how the quick toggles look, and it kind of reminds me of the Android version. And you can access the restart logout button, and also your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth with a single click. We also have the quick toggle for the night light.
Even so, I think it might be better to convert the package.
Also beside the power menu toggle, we can see the shortcut for screenshot. And this is how the interface looks, and you can take a screenshot of your entire.
There's two advantages to this system though. You can actually, if you find the RPM package for like Red Hat or even a .deb file, or even what file extension is Arch? Is that RPM? Visit sideword. What is it? An RPM package that Arch uses? I'm fucking tired. I'm just bleh. Can't think. I don't know. Arch build system uses ABS is a ports-like source package system that compiles source tarballs into binary packages, which are installed via Pacman. Wait a minute. Yeah, it sounds like they use a right. Well, in BlendOs, you can install from a deb file, an RPM file. I think RPMs come from the AUR. I think. So yeah, Arch isn't using RPM packages because they have Alma, Alt Linux, Asian Nux, Berry Linux, Bag Linux, CentOS, CentOS Steam, Cloud, Euler OS, Fedora, Fermi Linux, Ubuntu, Gecko, Granular. Going through a huge list. Like Nobara uses RPM, Open uses it, Oracle, PC Linux OS, Red Hat, of course, Rocky, Russian Fedora Remix, Scientific Linux, SUSE, Haas, Trucks, and Vine Linux. And so there's yeah, I'm trying to find like No, so Arch is basically using the tarball system. Even through the AUR, it's a tarball. There's different kinds of tarballs that Arch uses, though, which is really fucking weird. So that is a whole other nutshell in itself. So I kind of get what they're saying. You can, okay. So if your BlendOs base system, you leave it alone. You keep it daft. I'm still up. I haven't even gone to bed, dude. I haven't even gone to fucking bed.
Okay.
I'm 19 hours and 25 minutes. Get that tiny screwdriver. I didn't get a tiny screwdriver. So daft. You want to see something really fucking crazy? You will shit. For the card? What card? Oh, when I was trying to do that NVMe drive? No, I never did get it. I got some ordered out external ones that have bigger screws on them. That have a bigger screw on 3 of them on the side of it. That fucking screw, I'll take the fucking drill to it. I couldn't. No, you're not gonna get that off. I'll take the drill to that fucking thing, man. Watch this.
Better than this. It's a little closer. I
This
found
is gonna
the
change it
perfect distribution
for
the
Windows.
perfect one. Now we all know
More
as
people
Linux
gotta
users,
check this out.
that there's so many exciting things happening. Whether
It's a
happening in
Linux
Fedora,
version.
whether it's happening in Arch, whether it's happening in Ubuntu, and a lot of times those awesome things are not in sync. One distro is doing something really cool you want to check out, and the other distro is doing this other thing, or this other distro has access to get this package working, but this distro doesn't. And
Wait a minute.
well, that's what distro hopping is. That's why you see a lot of us in the Linux world jumping to all these different distros. But what if I told you those days?
What is
are
that?
gone?
A
Because somebody has
Gladiator?
solved this problem. Somebody has fixed. has given us the
NXT
antidote
Evo
to
Space
distro hopping.
Combat Edition? What
And
the hell is
distro
that?
That's going to rule them all is BlendOs. That's
Daft,
what I want
watch
to talk
this.
to you today about, because I've been spending the last few weeks in
Let me Google
BlendOs,
that.
and this is not overhyped. Well, I mean, it may be because I am overhyped about it.
Oh,
but I'm not
those.
overhyping how amazing this
That's
operating
not even a
system is,
joystick. That's an
because it
overpriced
has
dildo.
everything that I've been wanting in a distro, because it combines them all like a blender. Like, can it blend? Yes, it can blend. So you get an Arch base, but you have an immutable operating system, much like SteamOS has done it. And we know how stable SteamOS is on the Steam Deck. And so you have this immutable OS.
So
that
you
can
gotta
roll back.
buy
So you have all of the
one of
cutting
these.
edge pieces of Arch, but an immutable system. Plus, if I
So
want
the
to use
handle's
Fedora,
really fucked up.
I can have Fedora there in a container. And
Right here.
even from the
You gotta get
terminal,
one
you
of
can
these
install Fedora
styles.
applications
So it's just not
all over
upright.
the top of this utilizing DNF. If I want to use Ubuntu, I can do that too. Alma Linux, sure, throw that in. Really, all of the main core distros blended together, available in one. The AUR with so many amazing packages available to it. Yeah, let's throw that in the blender as well. And that's how you come up with one of the greatest distros, I think, this year, possibly the distro that
Wow.
will solve all distro hopping, BlendOs. So let's get into what makes this distro so amazing and my experience for the last few weeks utilizing this in production and having
You see
absolute
that?
amazing time. In fact, I'm in it right now.
It would be really
recording this with
comfortable
all this
sitting
fancy
like this.
audio equipment,
Your
utilizing
movements would be
Pipewire,
like
all
a
these things,
fucking
out of
bobcat.
the box. No
Dude, that would
problem with
actually
it
be
all.
really
Oh,
comfortable.
and by the
It'd
way,
be like
one
a
of the issues with
bobcat.
immutable distros is
It would
sometimes
literally
getting
like
the
be
drivers
driving
for
a
things
John
like
Deere
proprietary
bobcat.
NVIDIA drivers. They have a
Because your
system for
rotate
that,
would
so
be
you can
like
install those
this, not
packages as
a
well,
twist,
so you're
but
not
like
left out
this.
in the cold.
Because that
This
lever would
is
come
what I'm
in and
talking
then it would
about when you
rotate.
take all the amazing work from the open source community, just combine it into one package here. Is it
Theft,
possible?
watch this.
It is, and it's here.
This is
Let's get into it. So
the
let's
next
talk about
OS, and they've
first
really
how
improved on it.
difficult this operating system is to install, because certainly if you have a distro that's a blend of every distro, this is going to be a mess, right? The installer is going to be messed up. It's going to be really difficult. It's going to be like an Arch-like experience or something else, or you've got to sit there in the command line and you don't have a GUI and all that. Wrong. It's got a beautiful GUI, one of the most simplistic installers you could think of. Very, very well done. In fact, really surprised at how simplistic they were able to make it. So you download your ISO, you write it to a USB drive, you boot to it, it takes you through a beautiful GUI that just makes sense, and you install the OS and reboot into it. That's it. You're done. So installing, very simple. Once you get into the distro, this is where things get really exciting. Now, you can choose what desktop environment you want. So let's say you want XFCE,
You can
KDE,
change at
you want
any
Cinnamon,
point.
GNOME, any of those that you want, no problem. Choose your desktop environment.
Well,
But
you're
let's
on
say it is
Twitch.
an immutable OS that you want to change your
I'm on
desktop environment. That's probably not so easy, right? Wrong again.
6 systems
You can
right now.
switch your desktop environment any which way you
Watch.
want, and you can bounce back and forth at your pleasure. This is some of the amazing things that
You can
BlendOs
change your
allows you to
desktop.
do.
It takes
Because
about 5
not
minutes.
only are you able to switch, but it doesn't carry over all of the junk that happens when you switch desktops in a normal environment. So sure, you could switch desktop environments in Fedora or Ubuntu, but if you go from something like KDE to GNOME, you're going to have lots of leftover files and packages
duplicates.
and duplicate file managers and things that you have to clean up. Not in BlendOs. In BlendOs, when you're switching between these, doesn't matter. It's going to automatically clean up all those things, keep all your files where they're supposed to be. So all the videos you created, text files, all that stuff will still be there. Doesn't erase it, but you only have the file manager, say Dolphin, that's meant for KDE, or for GNOME, you only have the Nautilus file manager. So you don't have to deal with all the duplication and mess that comes in other distros. But BlendOs becomes even more awesome when we talk about apps. Now, I mentioned a little bit about this in the beginning, but let me show you how it works. So not only can I go in here and create containers for Fedora or for Ubuntu or for Alma Linux or any of these distros that you see listed, but I can also create systems or ties to these containers so that in just the one terminal, I can use DNF, I can use yay for the AUR, I can use apt, I can utilize any of those commands from one terminal, or I could launch them in their container terminal and do that work there. But the system, the ability, the developers to think like, hey, let's tie it all together and integrate it so that you can utilize it in one terminal and make it really simple through a GUI to do so. Just absolutely brilliant.
And it gets even better.
I mentioned all the distros that you can add in, but did you know you can add in the Android stores as well? So if you want F-Droid and you want some Android apps, you can do that in here as well. You can create a container for that, and you can install some of your Android applications. Absolutely brilliant. One of the things, too, that allowing distros like Ubuntu, Debian, Rocky, Alma, Kali, Rawhide, all to be blended.
So, an example of just how good this is. Let me show you what I performed, which kind of blew my mind. Okay, I'm only in a virtual machine. Okay. And this is Linux. But this changes the game in such a way So let me come in here to, no, wrong one. I wanted a video. Tools. Okay. I don't need to arch. I got this Ubuntu container. Now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to delete these. Okay, I can leave. I don't need Pac-Man. Okay. Now, I have Steam and all this other stuff installed. Watch what happens when I launch Steam. Well, it launched. Right now, it's missing the driver controller support. It's missing your device link for your controllers because this is only the base install. So what I did as a test, 22.04 Ubuntu, I know it has Steam devices in it. I'm just going to name this Ubuntu. I'm going to add it as a container. This container is separate from my main operating system, but it's connected. So it has pass-through, and anything in this container runs natively, but doesn't affect my system, but it can pass through to my main operating system, but it runs separately. So when I install in here, I can install add-ons to the apps that are installed if they're missing. And literally, I put this here to binary name, which is my APT for app for Ubuntu. And the container name is Ubuntu, that container. Okay. This links it so I can come in here to my terminal. And then I can do, first I'm going to upgrade it. And now I'm not, I did that wrong. Wrong password. I'm going to upgrade it so that it has all the latest and greatest. Okay. Now I want to fix my Steam because the Arch doesn't have the devices listed, or I should say the FlatHub. So I go sudo this isn't VMware. You should see how fast this shit goes on the regular computer. Sudo apt install Steam devices. This adds the controller support for my Xbox and PlayStation controller. Now you have the Xbox controller working on the Steam. If there's a problem with this, I can delete this and it doesn't affect my main system. My Steam will just lose controller support. But I can install from any of the main, like I could have a container here with all of Kali Linux for hacking computers in a container, and it's not part of this system, but it can get the information and pass back and forth freely. But this install doesn't affect this. So if I delete all this, it only affects nothing here besides what it was contributing. So I can install all my programs through this and run them. So like, I'll show you. So now this is the regular terminal, this play button right here. This is the terminal. So it's with my name under the Ubuntu setup. Okay, so I can go sudo apt update. Okay, sudo apt upgrade. Okay, it's fully upgraded. Now I can go sudo apt install. I'll do GIMP. Now watch. It's going to install it, and then it will say that it underneath it is in the Ubuntu container. So it's just pulling all of the GIMP from the Ubuntu server. It's installing it. There's an error there because I am in VMware. It won't affect it. At least it hasn't so far. Because it doesn't detect the hardware side. So I get one red error right there for the hardware pass-through for the CPU. Which is as far as I can figure. Because I am in VMware and it's not installed on my system. Now this is where it gets really neat. If you know you like the software of certain things out of Ubuntu, but then there's certain other programs you can't get in Ubuntu, but you got to get it through Arch. You can have one container with all the software that you can get through Ubuntu, have another container for the other software through Arch. You can have another container if Fedora has a different program that you can't get to install with the right version because the Fedora one is the most updated. You can then install it from Fedora and they'll all run in this system. Now to show you, I come here. Here's GIMP. And it's GIMP manipulation program on Ubuntu.blend. Because it's not installed in the main system, it's installed right here in this container. And it all works. And it's super fast. Okay, so we did GIMP. Let's just do sudo apt install Blender. Well, let's say you want to do some Blender work. Now, where it really becomes kind of neat, I could install Steam through Ubuntu and it'll run just like it's natively installed. I can install Discord through Ubuntu and it'll run like it's native. I can do Lutris for getting Epic installed and all these other ones. And it'll run like it's natively installed. So the only difference you see is it says Ubuntu. And where Steam and Lutris don't have that. See, it just says Lutris and it says Steam. I installed that through the main operating system. But, wrong button. This Blender is through the Ubuntu blend file. And bingo, it's up. And it all works. Like it's natively on the system. It's literally that. So now I got Lutris installed on the base system. Now watch, sudo apt install Lutris. So you can test which one is the right one that works for you. You can have multiple versions of the same software installed from different sources. I can have it through the Arch base program. I can have it through Ubuntu. I can have it through Arch. AUR. I can have it through Fedora. And each one is just a little bit different on how they function. And you can find the one that works for you and delete the other ones off. There's so much power to this one system that if more people would catch on to it for when 2025 comes around, you'll be ready. Otherwise, you're going to pay out a lot of fucking money just to Windows for a system that's going to be junk. And it's really quite interesting on how this works. Who's all streaming? Wanna... Oh, Insane XP's on. So this is where the power of Linux really starts to shine. Because now I did the Lutris, and now it has the Ubuntu behind it. These images are overblown, so that's why they look bad. But you can see here I have Lutris on the main system. Now I'm going to start Lutris on the main system. Now watch. It's going to go through and do all of its stuff. And what's really neat is just how this can distinguish one from the other. Okay, now I got Lutris here running. Here's Lutris where I can do Epic's Game Store, EA, Ubisoft Connect, all of that. Okay. And this Lutris is 5.14. Okay. Now I come down here, go back to here, and start this. If it's going to start. I started the other one right behind it. Come on. If it's going to start. I've broken the system already a couple times. Because I'm in Virtual Manager. I'm not where it's installed on my computer. See, it's not going to take it. But you can come back here and you can search, you know, the OBS. You can install OBS. You can install Discord. You know, I got that already. So you can do Wine. You play on Linux, Proton tricks, bottles, get all that other stuff. And then you got, let's say if you wanted Google. You want Google Chrome, you want the music player, you want Google Earth Pro, Google Drive client. You got all of that shit right here. You want to develop Android stuff, you can do it right there. You want Google regular maps, you can have that. I mean, the list is just huge of what is here. They have as much software through here as they do through the AUR. What else? Steam, Discord, Lutris, Wine, and that's pretty much the biggest list of, like, you got this one, FreeTube, which I use. I can install FreeTube through here, which is really neat. FreeTube on Linux is fucking wild. Ooh, cranberries. My wife's already starting to bring food out. Mm. Mm. Mm-mm. One thing I love is my cranberries this time of year. He knows me. Here, have another piece. I love my cranberries. I'm so glad here in Wisconsin they grow them. Now, so you can understand, this has no ads. So, an open source YouTube app for privacy. FreeTube is an open source desktop YouTube player built with privacy in mind. Use YouTube without advertisements and prevent Google from tracking you with their cookies, JavaScript, available for Windows, Mac, Linux, thanks to Electron. Please note, FreeTube is currently in beta. While it should work well for most users, there's still some bugs and missing features will be addressed. And I'll tell you what, this fucking app works really good with a browser. You're gonna be like, with a browser? Yeah. I go over to my browser, and then I find who I want to follow. So, like, I got my FreeTube right here.
It into one allows you to do things with.
And I can watch all the videos I want.
Typically, you should. For instance, Kali Linux
without
is
ads.
not meant to be an everyday distro. It is meant for penetration testing and security and privacy testing and those type of things, but it is not meant to be run as an everyday distro. Many people do it, but even on Kali's website, they tell you not to do that. They don't want you utilizing this as a daily. That's not what it's meant for. But in this system, because I can install Kali into a container, now I can utilize it for those purposes. I can either remove that container or keep it containerized in itself, keep it on my system forever if I'm continuing to do pen testing and those type of things without having to have the security compromises that come with having a system with those kind of tools that are on it by default. Again, just another brilliant way that they've integrated everything together. And here is the beauty too. If you go into one of these containers, for instance, let's say I'm in BlendOs and I set up a container for Ubuntu. And if I go into Ubuntu and launch the terminal and go into my downloads or I go into my video folder, all of the stuff that I've recorded in BlendOs is also available, meaning all those files are still viewable in the other container systems. So I don't have to sit there and try to move files between different containers and file systems and things like that. So it's not creating this world or container which has no view into anything else. They're interconnected, and that to me is absolutely amazingly convenient to be able to actually utilize this to its full capability. So now let's talk about some of the apps that I've tried to utilize in this. Gaming works perfectly. I've played CSGO, I've played Borderlands. I am on AMD, so that's important to note. So I didn't have to install any additional packages for NVIDIA and things. Thankfully, it's one of the advantages of being an AMD and Linux. But I was able to game with CSGO, Borderlands, had no problem. The frame rates were fantastic. The games ran wonderfully. So gaming is no problem on this as well. Able to install Steam, no problem. Additionally, OBS and Pipewire. Pipewire is very important for me. On the Destination Linux podcast, I'm piping in and mix-minusing audio from multiple sources to bring our patrons into the show live while we're recording it. And with BlendOs, it has Pipewire by default. I was able to use QWP Graph and wire in all of the different audio from various places and ready to go. And it's going to integrate all of those software applications right into your main menu. So you're not having to go to all these various containers to say launch Steam because you installed that in Ubuntu, but then Blender you installed in Fedora, so you got to launch that. No, right in my main menu are all my applications. As soon as I install them in any of those containers,
That's
they're
huge.
available to me to launch from the main menu. Wonderful. I mean, it's just freaking brilliant. I love BlendOs. Can you tell I love BlendOs? I love BlendOs. So that's it. My review of BlendOs. It is the infinity gauntlet of distributions. Every infinity stone represents a different distro, and you have them all within your control. Just like I mentioned on Destination Linux, latest version coming out, we all talk about BlendOs, and a little sneak peek here, everyone's been blown away by it. So if you haven't been excited for a Linux distro in a while, go check this one out. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed.
It's really
Even if it's
impressive.
something there that
I don't
you're
care
gonna
what
say,
anybody
maybe it's not
says.
for me, or I do this very specific thing. You're still going to admire and appreciate the awesome work that's here and what this could mean.
After you're
for
jumping
distro
around,
hopping
you
in the
were over
future,
on
because
Kick,
I think this
then you're over on,
number
or you're
one,
on
is
Twitch,
the
then you're
future
on
of Linux
Kick.
distributions. And I think the way BlendOs is doing
I
it
just
is
caught
so
that.
brilliant. I couldn't imagine an idea that's better than this. It's just awesome. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you checked out BlendOs, or what is your favorite immutable OS? I know there's a lot of vanilla out there and other people utilizing Silverblue and different immutable operating.
So immutable operating systems are really neat.
Terminal. Man, I was so new to the Linux world. I was used to searching for and downloading exe files on the web and then using them to install apps on Windows operating system that aims to cure distro hopping once and for all with its mind-blowingly innovative technology. Get this, BlendOs is Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, Rocky Linux, and a total of 9 Linux distros all in one. You can literally install software from Arch, Fedora, Ubuntu, and other software repositories directly here. But that's not all. BlendOs is an immutable and reproducible distro that makes it extremely powerful. I was really intrigued by BlendOs, so I installed it on my machine and have been using it for some time now. It has repeatedly blown my mind. What this distro can do is really fascinating. So if you're a distro hopper like me and keep trying out various Linux distros, you'll definitely want to watch this video, as BlendOs might just as well end up being your favorite Linux distro, or a combination of Linux distros, because BlendOs is 9 Linux distros in one. Having a good knowledge of Linux commands and being comfortable using the terminal really broadens what you can do with Linux and what kind of experience you are going to get here. So if you're interested in leveling up your Linux game, definitely check out my course Linux Mastery Express, which is the fastest way to learn Linux.
Trying to teach a
start using
course,
Linux
trying to
like
make
a pro.
money.
I'll teach you a set of commands that will give you top things that skills to the next level quickly now, so make use of it. BlendOs is a new and unique Linux distribution that blends together the best features of the top distros with the aim of creating the perfect Linux distribution. BlendOs itself is an Arch Linux based distro and it is immutable. BlendOs is created by Rudra Saraswat, the whiz developer behind major projects like Ubuntu Unity, UnityX, Ubuntu Web and more. And this may be his masterstroke yet. So what's so special here? What's the X factor with BlendOs? Actually, there are many things here that impress you and take you on a wild ride. First of all, it's the blend part of BlendOs that's mesmerizing. Seriously. BlendOs lets you add components and applications from other Linux distros like Ubuntu, Fedora, Rocky Linux, Kali Linux, Alma Linux, and a few other distros, just like how you'd normally install an app. No, we are not talking about virtualization here. The installed components integrate fully with the system and give out native performance. That's the crazy part. I absolutely love this. If you want to install a software from Fedora repositories, you can just run the dnf install command and it will download and install the software like you're on Fedora. The same goes for Ubuntu and many other distros. And since this is not virtualization but direct execution, the performance is top gear, just like apps installed on your normal system. This solves so many of the Linux world issues. You literally have access to the combined largest ever software repository of all time. Any software in a variety of version numbers. If you want the latest, get it from Arch user repositories. If you want a very stable version, get it from Ubuntu or Rocky Linux repositories. To the people that ask why there are so many Linux distros, couldn't everybody just pool their resources together and work on one distro? This is your answer. BlendOs is your all the Linux distros pooled together as one. BlendOs achieved this phenomenal accomplishment by using Docker and DistroBox technologies under the hood. With the BlendOs settings app, you get full control over how this works, and I love how the settings app simplifies everything. There's a lot of complexity going on under the hood, but the user sees a simplified and easy to understand options. That's how it should be. Let's jump in and see how to use this. Before we can go installing apps from other distros, you need to create a container using BlendOs settings. Select any distribution that you want here and give it a name. Here we get a healthy selection of distros. A variety of distros from different levels are given here to cater to users of all levels. Pick one and let the Docker image be downloaded. This might take some time based on your internet speed. This is a one-time operation for each distro. Once this is done, you can just click on the run button here, which will open a terminal in the newly installed containerized distro. Now a few things you should know. This terminal is basically Ubuntu now. You can run any command supported by Ubuntu. For example, we can do sudo apt update and then sudo apt install gimp and it will install gimp for us. This gimp integrates with the system fully and will be available for us in the app menu. It will run how you'd expect it to without any shortcomings. But this app is installed in the Ubuntu container without actually touching the main root file system. That's why we were not asked for a password. All the applications that are installed like this are maintained by their own containers but are available system-wide. In terms of isolation and integration, BlendOs is hitting that sweet spot. And since all the packages are confined within their own containers and are managed by each package manager, there is never any chance of package conflicts. Even if you install the same package using Ubuntu as well as say Fedora, both the packages will coexist on your system without conflicting with each other. You can go ahead and create any number of containers here. One cool option they have provided here is Kali Linux. Kali Linux is a system that comes loaded with tools and applications used in the hacking and penetration testing area. Kali is the de facto operating system for hackers. That's made available here as well. BlendOs lets you install apps from and get the best of Ubuntu, Arch, and Red Hat side of the Linux world, all in one system. This is going to be just the right thing for a big chunk of distro hoppers, and you can choose exactly what you want from any Linux distro and create your own personalized operating system. This concept is very powerful once you realize it. You can even make command associations here. Get this is pretty cool. You already know we can open certain container terminals here and run the commands supported by them. You can make those commands global by adding them here. For example, if I add the apt command here and import it from the Ubuntu container, I'll be able to run it in the BlendOs main terminal. This is so cool, especially for software developers. We'll be able to associate various tools and languages directly here. BlendOs developers know exactly what they are doing here. With BlendOs, all the Linux distros and their packages are at your fingertips, and the whole thing is amazingly executed. Major props to the BlendOs developers. BlendOs is an immutable Linux distro, meaning the core system itself is read-only and cannot be changed. This ensures that we have a super solid, dependable base for all the shenanigans happening in the containers above. You can install whatever you want and do whatever you want with the containers, but the main file system itself is completely protected. So now, an entire set of problems is completely eliminated. You're not gonna end up messing your system, you're not gonna break the core components. That's a whole world of problems eliminated from both the developers and the users' level of perception. Immutable distros are all the hype now because of these reasons. These distros are basically platforms where you get some work done and the core of the system is never exposed. So a bootable and workable system is there for you always. These immutable systems, they're never gonna give you up, they're never gonna let you down. But what if you want to install something to the system, maybe a driver? BlendOs has got a fix for that as well. It brings an overlay kind of system that lets you do modifications to the system and install any app or driver to the system itself. But these changes are made to an overlay and are applied only after a reboot. These are completely atomic in nature, so if anything goes wrong during an update, the entire modified overlay is dumped and you get the old fully working system. Even updates to the system are handled in the same way, fully atomic. So if an update goes wrong, the entire updated overlay is ditched and the old system is kept intact. BlendOs also automatically updates the system. To install any driver, application or package to the system itself, you just need to run sudo system install package name. For example, sudo system install VLC. This will get the package from the Arch Linux repositories and install it in the system. BlendOs is also Arch based. While you can install any package from any Linux distro, the core, the immutable base of the system itself is based on Arch Linux. This ensures that you are getting the latest of all the packages and are running a fully today system always. Just like its mama, BlendOs is a rolling release. Once you install the system, you never need to run updates or stuff like that. The system keeps itself updated all the time, so that one headache is gone. BlendOs is a cutting edge distro thanks to Arch. You'll always be ahead of the technological curve. Newest features, newest technologies, they'll all be available here always. And if you want to install apps and packages to the system itself, you'll be getting the latest versions. Initially, I thought that choosing Arch as the base for an immutable distro was kinda peculiar decision. But the developers were going for these advantages that Arch brings with itself. These advantages are undeniable and extremely valuable as far as desktop usage is concerned. Fantastic choice here. While choosing Arch as the base would have definitely made it trickier for developers, they have shown their brilliance by delivering a simple and polished system. There's a Linux distribution called NixOS, which has completely gone viral and is riding the hype train, especially in the software development scene because of few of its unique features. One such super cool feature is reproducibility. BlendOs 2, as you guessed by now, is completely reproducible system. This is mind-blowing, let's get into it. You can define an entire BlendOs system in a single file. Things like which desktop environment you want, should it use the light theme or dark theme, all the applications that you want installed on your base system. You can define these things in a text file. Then you can apply these things to a BlendOs system using one single command. Running user cater followed by the file name will modify your BlendOs system to be exactly as it is defined in this text file, and everything is done automatically. But that's not all. Even BlendOs specific things like which all containers are installed and even what applications are installed inside these containers are also definable in this file, and BlendOs creates the given containers and even installs the respective applications inside those containers. Really, this is pretty amazing and extremely convenient. You can just back up this configuration file and reproduce the system any number of times. You see how this can be invaluable for software professionals. Entire teams can be on the same page using this file, as the exact same system can be deployed on any number of machines with a single command. Reproducibility is a phenomenal innovation in any Linux distro, and it's just a great feature to have. Like there's not enough to brag about already, BlendOs comes with out-of-the-box support for Android apps. Now this is really sporty. It was working for me, I could install and open Android apps, but now it has stopped working for me. So I'll not get into it too much here. But basically, Android support is implemented using Waydroid here. You can install additional Android apps here using the Aurora Store, which is a Google Play Store alternative. There's also F-Droid support, which is an open source software store for Android. Both of these can be directly installed by clicking here. Additional apps can be installed from within these apps. If these work for you, great. If they don't, hard luck. But I'm sure Android apps are going to work fine in some future version of BlendOs, so hopeful about that. BlendOs has a great availability of desktop environments. GNOME, KDE Plasma, XFC, Cinnamon, Deepin Desktop, Mate and LXQT are officially available. For a relatively new Linux distribution, this is impressive. By capitalizing on Arch Linux phenomenal desktop environment availability, BlendOs provides its users with that variety. If you're impressed by what you saw till now, what BlendOs has to offer, then you can go ahead and play with BlendOs, and you can do it in any flavor you prefer. All the desktops come in fully stock formats, so that's another plus. There are no modifications or additional branding done by the BlendOs team here. Everything is full vanilla. BlendOs really surprised me with its performance. I'll be honest, I was kinda expecting at least some kind of performance overhead here, just because how BlendOs is designed from ground up and how it works.
What was that?
The applications that we install are going to be installed inside containers. So I was expecting some lags, some freeze ups, but everything runs butter smooth here. All the applications, even those installed inside containers, run at full native speeds. I was really skeptical, so I tried a few games and the performance was again top notch. This really confused me, so I started researching into it and I was really left astounded by what I found out. BlendOs uses DistroBox technology to run apps from different distributions, and DistroBox runs or executes these programs on the main host kernel itself. And additionally, the additionally installed distro containers use the exact same kernel from BlendOs. This removes the huge overhead and translations required by virtual systems. Essentially, the containerized applications are running their binaries in the main system itself. That's why they perform at full native speeds. This is nothing like running different distros in virtual machines. Absolutely nothing like it. Now this is superb innovation on DistroBox's part. Bravo! Talking about the stability, we already saw how BlendOs is an immutable distro and has atomic updates. That brings about an elevated level of reliability, even when BlendOs is based on Arch Linux and receives updates on a regular basis. For day-to-day usage, BlendOs is going to be great, and you have that cutting-edge advantage where everything is new for you. In fact, because of the atomic updates, I would say BlendOs provides even better reliability than Arch Linux itself. Moving to the usability, there are rough edges, I won't deny that. But most of these unfamiliarities are just that, unfamiliarities. BlendOs is a new breed of operating system that's different, so it feels different. It's also in its infancy and many of us haven't experienced something like this yet, so there's that slight learning curve. Since the application installation process is exhaustive and you need to use the terminal to install apps, Linux newcomers will feel a slight friction. But once the developers implement GUIs for that, it'll be great. But intermediate and advanced Linux users will feel at home here and even enjoy it in fact. The entire blend fiasco here makes using your computer a more exciting affair. I kid you not. I never imagined I would get excited to install apps through the terminal again. It felt like 10 years ago when I first learned to install apps using the terminal. Man, I was so new to the Linux world. I was used to searching for and downloading exe files on the web and then using them to install apps on Windows. When I learned that on Ubuntu, you install apps by opening a terminal and running sudo apt install and the application name. Any application name that you type here would just automatically install. I remember like it was yesterday. My mind was blown to the kingdom come. Playing with BlendOs felt that way again. So yeah, BlendOs is exciting once you get an idea of how it all works here. Then it also gets simpler using BlendOs. Once you set up the containers and install all your applications, you can use BlendOs even for day-to-day usage. The ability to get apps from different distros makes BlendOs suitable for pretty much any use case. You can use this as your daily driver for your studies, work, software development, business, and anywhere else you can imagine. That kind of versatility is built into BlendOs by design. Gaming is another area where BlendOs has a lot of potential. While you can use various containers to set up gaming, the base Arch system too provides a great support and superb set of gaming tools. Newest of everything does come with huge benefits in the gaming department. Firstly, you can get a ton of Linux games from all the distros supported here. There are many super fun Linux games like Super Tux Kart, Xonotic, 080, Alien Arena, and many more. Enough to keep you occupied for months. And if you want to go a level higher, get Steam. Steam has a curated library of top quality Linux games like the Tomb Raider series, Hitman, Dota 2, CSGO, and many more. Additionally, using Proton, you can play thousands of Windows exclusives on Linux. The fun part, they install and run like they are Linux native, without the need for Wine or Play on Linux tinkering. Titles like GTA 5, Cyberpunk 2077, The Witcher 3, and many more amazing AAA titles run totally fine here. For these, install Steam on BlendOs using the system install command and then enable Steam Play in the settings and get gaming. Now just like BlendOs, Steam OS 2 is based on Arch Linux, so all the games are tested and optimized for pretty much the same system. So expect to get a very good mileage here. To see which games run fine using Steam Play, check out ProtonDB. All in all, gaming should be a blast on BlendOs. BlendOs comes with its homegrown installer. Jade is a simple and straightforward installer that gets you started with BlendOs within a matter of minutes. Once you are in a BlendOs live boot, launch the installer, select your language and location, the partition to install BlendOs, and that's that. The Blend installer does everything by itself and gives you a fresh installation in minutes. The developers have done a really good job on this installer. Jade is really simple and it doesn't make you feel like installing BlendOs is a big deal. I
Be
like
right
the
back. I'm
idea.
going to the bathroom.
You need to pay attention to the partitioning though. Using full disk is very simple. Select the disk you want to use, it'll completely erase the disk and automatically do all the partitioning magic and install the system. You can also manually partition the disk. You just need to pay a bit more attention here. Overall, installing and getting started with BlendOs is a breeze. By the way, there are also multiple versions of BlendOs available with a range of desktops. Check them out. All is not well in paradise. BlendOs is relatively a very new distribution and it shows. Linux distros are like wine, they get better with age. BlendOs has some rough edges, it still needs polishing up in many areas. As we already saw, Android apps work sometime, didn't work most of the time, that needs sorting up. The containers that we create have very weird rules regarding super user privileges. The main root password is not the root password for these containers, but they prompt you to input the root password. You can see the dilemma here. I could get around by using the dot notation method for calling programs from containers, but that too sometimes doesn't work. I'm not complaining here, I absolutely understand the workload involved in creating and managing something like BlendOs. I'm just letting the users know what to expect here. There are kinks, which you need to know how to deal with, and figuring things out is going to take some time. BlendOs requires patience. BlendOs is very different from what I've seen yet. The principle is similar to Vanilla OS, but hands-on, Vanilla and BlendOs feel very different. These are a completely new breed of Linux distributions, that's for sure. BlendOs provides a very unique, powerful Linux experience. Knowing you have access to some of the largest software repositories from some of the biggest distros makes using BlendOs the Linux god mode. You can install software from Ubuntu repositories, from Fedora, from Debian, Rocky Linux, Alma, and more, all on the same system. And whatever you do, the core of the system is immutable, so you cannot pollute it. BlendOs hits a great stability to excitement ratio with its innovative approach to pretty much everything. Cherry on the cake, the whole thing is completely reproducible. Using a single text file, you'll be able to build a BlendOs pre-configured system pretty much infinite number of times. That's a backup method that I can get behind. While BlendOs is absolutely groundbreaking, no, I don't think everybody should switch to BlendOs. See, everybody doesn't need access to all the features that BlendOs provides. For most people, something like Ubuntu will be more than enough. For most software developers, Fedora or Arch will suffice. Not everybody needs everything. BlendOs is for the outliers. People that I don't know whether they need but want everything. BlendOs is for people who, as DistroWatch puts it, want to put the fun back into computing. But yeah, BlendOs is innovative, feature-packed, and a member of the next generation. BlendOs is a fantastic idea, superbly executed. I'm really hopeful about a great future for this distro. Definitely give it a try. The download links are given in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, definitely consider subscribing to the channel and leave me a big thumbs up. And if you're interested in leveling up your Linux skills, the link to my course Linux Mastery Express is given in the description below. It's designed to teach you Linux and take you from zero to hero within the shortest amount of time possible. You'll be using Linux like a pro within a matter of hours, so definitely check that out. Alright, if you had fun with BlendOs in this video, you'll absolutely love this fantastic distro called NixOS. It's pretty amazing, so don't miss that. Alright, this is Linux Techs, signing out.
So, you are tired of distro hopping. Let's say, for example, you love Debian 12, but you just need one package from the AUR. And we know doing this is possible because we've seen tools in things such as BlendOs, where you're able to spin up containers and then install graphical applications for other distributions, or even if you've tried out Fedora Silverblue, you might have seen Toolbox. This is a tool that allows you to run a Fedora container on top of your read-only file system. So you could do things such as installing an RPM package if you need to. Well, what if you need more than a simple package and you want something outside of Fedora or the RHEL family? This is where DistroBox comes in. This is a tool that allows you to create a container for almost any distribution utilizing Docker and Podman. But this isn't just a virtualized environment, it's still native to your system, allowing you to access your home folder, install graphical applications, and integrate near perfectly with basically no performance loss. This kind of makes it like the Windows subsystem for Linux, only it's the Linux subsystem for other Linux distributions. This makes it possible to do things like setting up a Debian developer environment on Void, or even installing an AUR package on Ubuntu. And people have been using it to get bigger applications such as DaVinci Resolve to run on systems that aren't Red Hat Linux without any dependency issues. You can even use it to install things on a system you might not have root access to, such as a lockdown school laptop that just happens to be running Linux for some reason, or something like SteamOS. So now let's actually dive into the process of how to install it and some of the actual use cases for it. You're going to want one of these distros, then you could just install DistroBox from your distro's package manager. Otherwise, the GitHub has an install script that you can run. Either with this script install it with root, or this one to install it without root access. For me, I'm just going to run DNF install DistroBox, and I have it. Now, before we create our first container, I do need to quickly thank the sponsor of today's video, Akamai, Connected Cloud, and just how easy it is to set up your very own Linux server in the cloud. You can spin up a Linode with a wide variety of Linux distributions.
This is the all-new BlendOs, and it's a new next-generation operating system that aims to cure distro hopping once and for all with its mind-blowingly innovative technology. Get this, BlendOs is Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, Rocky Linux, and a total of 9 Linux distros all in one. You can literally
Welcome back to Switch to Linux.
It's neat to see what
Today
other
we
people
want to talk
think.
about a new distro. A number of people have been talking about it, and I want to give you my general perspectives. Of course, this is
I'm gonna eat you.
BlendOs, the Swiss Army Linux distribution, or some say the one distro to end all distro hopping, or some people will say it's the best distro ever, or the one distro to rule them all. You know, you see a lot of those types of words out there, but I want to go ahead and give you guys, as usual, an honest perspective from the distribution. So the first thing we'll say about the distribution is this is one of the ones that was on that list of ones. If you remember a few months ago when I did the video talking about how Linux distros just aren't working that well. Well, this is one of those distros I was trying to do one of the distro reviews of, and it was like it wouldn't install anywhere. It was doing a lot of weird things. It has a weird custom installer, and the custom installer was trying to install the entire system in the master boot record, which consequently is only a couple megabytes, and so it was, of course, would fail. And there's no manual partition setups and things like that. And I actually joined their Discord server just to see if there's any perspective over there. And a lot of people were saying the same issues. Some people were saying, well, it's the Plasma version, try the GNOME version. Some were saying it's the GNOME version, try the Plasma version. Basically, it couldn't get that version to work. But it has since gone through a few more updates since then, and now the new version is actually able to be installed. Although I think I failed to get it installed on VirtualBox, but it did install well on GNOME boxes, which is probably a better place for it because GNOME boxes does a better job of sharing unused system resources simultaneously with the distro rather than VirtualBox, which you set very specific limits there too. And so we're going to have a look at BlendOs. First, we'll have a look over at their website and see what they do. This thing here actually, just on the small size of my screen, it's doing all that weird craziness. On a full screen, it actually looks a little bit better. It doesn't like the mobile responsive. But anyway, you can try it. You can learn more. You can join the Discord server. And over here, it argues to be, and as many people have mentioned, it is a Linux distribution that can run pretty much every major form of Linux distribution, including Android apps on top of it, very well. Now, when I did the Android apps looking at the Wajoid application, I had to do that on real hardware. I could not get it working inside of virtualization. This actually does work on the virtualization. And I think the reason is this bypasses virtualization and actually executes the virtual code directly on the core of the system. Of course, since I'm running through through GNOME boxes, there's a little bit of interplay there. So overall, though, the system does respond fairly well, being that we are inside of a virtualization setting and not just directly installed.
No, you gotta
This
ask
is
Mom.
an interesting and compelling
Not
distribution.
me, Mom.
It's certainly not one to look at and go, that's garbage. It's not. It is amazing. It really is amazing. However, there are a few issues. Even some of the reviewers, I watched a few other reviewers, and there were some people were having a few issues with it. And the other thing we have to remember is that before we declare that this is the one distro to end all distro hopping, first and foremost, it is not a distro for a new user. You have to use the terminal to use the system as it's really designed to be used. So that's the first thing we have to keep in mind. The second thing we have to keep in mind is it is very new. It is a lot of the new technology. It is one of these immutable Linux distributions, which means that it does have a lot of compelling reasons to look at it. And the fact that you can run multiple different Linux distributions with inside of it, that in and of itself is a deeply compelling thing as well. And so that is really nice. But because it's so new, it's using immutable technologies, it's containering things a little bit differently, there are still a lot of bugs. So I would still consider this as more of a development rather than a ready for prime time. So we'll go ahead and see. Now, what they say is you can run Android apps, you can run a variety of Linux containers and apps inside of those, you can run deb packages, RPM packages. That's the part I haven't tested yet, but I just downloaded a few, so we'll try them as I record the video. You have apps, millions of them. Now, under the core, there's no way, since it's an immutable system, to install apps in the typical way. So there's a few ways you do that. The first is the software store is already set up for Flatpak. So anything inside of FlatHub you already have. The second factor you have to look at is the containerization, which allows you to install a lot of different applications. So we'll have a look at how that looks. We have gaming, we have productivity, the always up-to-date system. So it will do everything in the background. Apparently, it will do an atomic operating system. Basically, I'm not sure exactly if it's doing like the dual system like NixOS is doing, or if it's installing itself on a separate partition and swapping the partitions. There's a couple different ways of doing the immutability. But as far as it works, the system itself, it's never really going to be prompting you for updates. It's going to update stuff in the background. Now, you might love that. You might hate that. I'm not a huge fan of that, but we'll see. I mean, things are getting a little bit better. I mean, I'm still suffering from some of the woes of updating my Endeavor OS the other day, but we'll get there. We'll get there. It's okay. It's okay. At least it's not Windows, right? So you can run a variety of different systems and different package managers. And what you're going to do is it's going to give you the ability to install software from a variety of different repos. So it says here, just run system install package in a terminal, where package is the name of the package in the Arch repository. Now, if you try and use like Pacman, it's going to tell you that it's immutable. And I think that that's doing a separate containerization, but we're going to focus on the other ways as well. There are configuration files, so you can actually export the configuration file of your system and deploy this on an install. And then we have a few other options as well, including different desktop environments. We're going to be playing around with the GNOME version. There's also Plasma, XFCE. I'm not sure. I guess Cinnamon is in the list now. Deepen, that would be new. That might be actually new from when I downloaded it next. But as you see, though, this is a very fast moving distribution. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. I do really like when you go over to the download, they do give you this warning: don't download the ISOs anywhere else. These are the official links. Here's your GNOME, Plasma. They have Cinnamon. Ooh, I don't know. I might have to try this out on Cinnamon. I'm wondering if I have a slightly older version at this point in time, because I don't remember that being an option. XFCE, LXQT, Mate, and Deepin. So there you go. You have some Deepin options as well. We have SourceForge. We have, is it Shalister? I don't know. These two are. One in Canada, one in Germany, global, and we also have a BitTorrent. So you can actually grab a variety of different distros. different desktop environments, we should say. And it's giving us a little bit of information about using Etcher to go ahead and install. I do also like that they give us the direct links to install and Flash with these, because that is Etcher. Just a warning, Etcher is one of the softwares involved in the malware campaigns where people are buying out ads promoting Etcher, and you click on the ad link and it takes you to a malicious site. So if you're downloading something like Etcher or Rufus or something, really make sure that you're going to the right spot. So having a variety of desktop environments now, I think when I first tried to download it, there was only your GNOME and your Plasma. And that was only a few months ago. So this is very, very actively
They've
developed
updated
right
this
now.
a
And so
ton.
that is really the good sign that
When I
we're
first
seeing
tried
that
it, there
level
you
of
only had the 2
development.
desktops.
So with that, let's go ahead and have a look at what our distro is going to look
And
like.
you didn't have the fast
So
swap.
again, we are in GNOME boxes, and we are running this in the GNOME
You wanna
system
grab
here.
me a
First
soda?
thing, let's go ahead and have a look at our system
I remembered
settings.
my fork.
And
Somebody's been begging me
we'll pull
to-
this up and have a look at our About system.
I don't want to get my
And
hands all
here you
greasy.
can see our basic hardware model, our memory. Looks like I've given it 6 gigs of RAM. I thought I gave it more, but okay.
So,
Here's your processor.
do we still all got in
it's,
here?
It's the fact that this can use all of the cores. Yes, I did limit the RAM to 6, but I did allow it to access all the cores. Disk capacity. Hopefully we're not running out of disk, because I've installed a number of containers just to poke around with this guy here. GNOME version 44, running Kylin virtualization through KVM. We're running Linux kernel 639 Zen. And let's click the software button and see what that goes with. So that says it's all up to date. So that is good to know. So, and I didn't push any updates. I installed this a few weeks ago, and just to play around with it in preparation of doing a video, and I have never gone in here to do a full system install. So that is that. Now we're going to go ahead and first have a look at let's just go into the terminal, because according to that system there, it just says if you just do an install a package name, or I think it's system install, right? That's kind of what the documentation happened to say. Enter our password. Missing file, operation, operand. Okay, let's do sudo system install htop. And then this tends to lock the system. So I've actually given this several minutes to try, and it's basically stuck here. And a lot of the reason is because this is an immutable system. So it's not going to really let us out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and just close this guy here, and then we'll open the terminal back up. And we're going to do our, let's do sudo pacman -s htop. So this is actually the better way you'd run this, and you'll notice that unable to lock database, could not lock database. You might say that, well, that's because you just canceled an attempt to install something. That is not the case. If this is the very first time you've ever tried that, it's going to give you the exact same message, because it is an immutable system. But watch this. Sudo apt install htop. Look at this. We actually have htop installing through apt. Now, the reason this is installing it, let's see, the reason that this is installing it, hold on.
If you can figure it out.
Install. All right, so now it's installing your htop. So you'll notice though that, htop command not found. Very interesting. Well, let me explain to you why that happened to work and how to actually access this. And this happens to do with how your entire system is working. So inside of your system tools, you will have an application for BlendOs settings. This is where you set up your Linux containers and whatnot. So I actually have 2 Linux containers set up. One of those is Ubuntu.
They showed Kali. I'm curious. That box is not running right. Hmm. Even Linux Mint has problems. Which is kind of annoying the way it goes sometimes. Boxes has trouble in Linux Mint. Is this more of a Vert Manager thing? Or not a Vert Manager, but a virtual box manager? Boxes is a little bit more control. Not quite a KVM, but it's kind of on the verge of it. Who do we still all got left in here? Anybody still alive? Is anybody still alive? Is everybody? Everybody just kind of not here. Yeah, I kind of fucked my system. How do I want to do this? Underground. Hmm. What should we play? I don't know. Who's all left in here? Who's still alive? Who's all still left alive in here? If anybody. Yeah, because it's been 20 hours. I don't know what I should do. Feel like I don't know. Really just don't know what I feel like. Favorite, are you still playing Starfield? Yeah, I see your name. I still have it open. You're hooked. So what else? Maybe we'll go into some star. Should I go into Starfield or Star Citizen? Or what should I do? Could do some Star Citizen. Or could do some more Starfield. You know, kind of got a feeling Starfield's gonna win. So